Ghanatube so snowy masai swatena say Elsia for Dimechi na yenkotie ensemba kumienu bi ekoso ewo o mangani muna say ba na de eka no me de atwaso amamo Dimechi.
More than 50 Ghanaian students are stranded in UK and risk being returned without certificates following a sponsorship debt over £1 million. The affected students have created a GoFundMe account to solicit support to pay their fees ahead of June 1, 2025 deadline. Now let's speak to David Fireman, who leads the team of students in UK. Hi David, good morning and thank you for joining us this morning. Well, I'm certain that it's a good morning over here in Ghana, but not so good morning for you in the UK. So how many students, confirm the number of students that are stranded for me?
We have over 50 students at the moment who are stranded and are looking forward to hearing from the government to come and sort the whole problem out at the moment.
Describe the problem. What is exactly the problem?
So basically, since last year, October, we received an email from the university with regards to payment of fees to be addressed. And since then, the issue has not been resolved. So it was until we met the registrar and the university, which was on the 6th of April, to sort out the whole issue, thinking that this whole issue would go to death. But unfortunately, a week after the meeting with the registrar, the university sent us an email confirming that their decision with the registrar or their engagement with the registrar didn't go as planned. As a result, students are supposed to take up their fees.
Okay.
And this followed with another email, which informs students of various decisions that the university has taken. The first one, which is if you do not have any debt, you are allowed to graduate and have your certificate. If you owe less than £500, you'll be able to graduate but not have your certificate. But anything above £500, you won't be able to graduate, you won't be able to get a certificate.
Well, prior to your going to school, what was the arrangement like? What kind of scholarship and what did it contain?
So it was a Ghana Scholarship Secretariat scholarship, which is the popular GSS scholarship. And the scholarship covered fees being paid and then a monthly stipend of around £1,010, which none of that has been addressed since arriving in January 2024, and some students also arriving in September as well.
Okay, so this is from last year, 2024.
Most definitely.
Okay, so the government of Ghana is owing the school outstanding of 1 year. So far, what have you done? Which institution have you contacted? Have you heard from the Scholarship Secretariat at all?
Yes, we have tried many ways to reach the Scholarship Secretariat since last year. Our team, actually, the executive, had to even petition the budget control when the situation got worse, with the first email of putting students to be self-funded. And fortunately, I would want to give credit to the current registrar. He made a commitment by meeting the university. However, the commitment is not enough. Meeting the university was not enough, as the university claims.
The registrar you're talking about, registrar from the school or from the government secretariat here in Ghana?
No, the secretariat in Ghana.
Okay.
Yes.
So the secretariat is aware, but following the issuance of student self-funding, the secretariat in Ghana here, its registrar, met with your school administration. And do you recall the exact terms in that meeting?
After the meeting, we were briefed. We, the executives, also met the secretariat, the registrar and his team, and we were briefed about the agreement, which was making some payments and then adhering to a payment plan.
Has some payments been made? None at all?
None at all. However, it was until we met the university's leaders. The university actually elected some few representatives to have a stakeholder engagement with us. That was on Tuesday of this week. it was until we had that engagement and we realized that the Secretariat had agreed with the university to make 10% of the total debt, of which the university rejected that offer basically. So it boils down to the fact that as a result of the university rejecting the 10% payment, which the Secretariat actually proposed, that is why they are taking the stand of
the 90% being taken care of later or by students?
Exactly. So the 90% is estimated to be taken care of by the Secretariat. However, the school says there is no proposed plan or there is no payment plan that was offered by the Secretariat with regards to taking care of the 90%.
So you have resorted to a GoFundMe account, hoping that the public will come to the aid. Do we have a total amount of money we're seeking to raise?
Yeah, we are looking at raising over £400,000 because looking at the number, we estimated, okay, if each student is supposed to actually pay £9,000 of their own fees and then receive a donation of £9,000 from the public, it could at least reduce some pressure or burden on the student.
How much have you raised so far?
So far, we've not raised anything yet because it was after our meeting on Tuesday that we set the account up that very day. So we are looking forward to reaching out to various stakeholders, at least in the country. You know, there are good Ghanaians and there are basically businessmen who are Ghanaians out there who can reach us, who can basically help us raise this amount, take care of our fees. Since the university has given a deadline of 1st June, students are not able to raise certain amounts, it means they are supposed to face the decision going forward.
Well, David Farman, thank you for bringing this to our attention, and I really wish you the best in raising this fund.
And now to our first business story. Ecobank Transnational Incorporated has justified decisions not to pay dividends to shareholders on their 2024 financials. Ecobank ended last year posting some recorded financial results, including revenue reaching more than $2 billion, while profits before tax hit $658 million. However, the decision to freeze dividend payment has not gone down well with some retail investors at its annual general meeting in Lomé, Togo. But speaking to Joy Business Group Chief Executive Jeremy Oburi insisted they needed to take immediate steps to strengthen its balance sheet.
So the first thing is that we did pay dividends in 2022 and 2023, right? So sometimes I think it's misunderstood that we haven't been paying dividends. There have been a lot of regulatory developments, market developments that we've seen over the course of the last year, including requirements by a number of countries to increase the capital levels within those countries. And what as a bank we have to do is we have to balance off between keeping capital, which supports growth, because that capital through capital adequacy is what is required for our assets, and also if we return capital in the form of dividends to our shareholders, then that could constrain growth. And remember, we're in an investing phase to generate future growth and profits, which will come back to the shareholders. So we're just really asking the shareholders, I know they've been patient for a while, I know they would like to see more dividends. That's what we're working for. That's the returns part of our growth, transformation and return strategy. So I think we hopefully should see dividends coming in as soon as we possibly can imagine, but we balance out all of these factors because we don't want to be paying dividends and then going to the market to look for equity. That really doesn't make sense. So we've had obviously active conversations, and I believe the shareholders will understand, but we'll do everything we can to try and satisfy them in future.
I asked all the things being your core question, holding these variables all constant. Are we looking at the possibility that, looking at the way things are going, the Q1 numbers are great as well, that possibly next year there's a likelihood that you could be paying dividend to shareholders?
I knew that question would come. I mean, that, like I've said before, one thing that is for certain in this world, expect the unexpected. So it's very early days. We're still in H1. We still have to finish the year. We've seen how active the first quarter has been in geopolitical terms, and that obviously has an impact on the continent. All things being well, if we perform well, we would like to be able to pay a dividend. That is our ambition. So we're working towards that as a company and as a board. So hopefully this time next year, people will be more encouraged.
Madam Assistant Mudi Meche Cotier and Sema El Coso, and Sana Messor Muslim Mekai was a ha a Ghanatube so. Ubet me age our comment, Eddie Amaye, na Ebekin Kai Eddie Amo for fair. One subscribe and subscribe, na found sa emia notification bell no so. Said a bear in sem no 72 na winya no in temper, so model for snowy near Ebusia for my crown.